Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome to a launch week look at the Great War Western Front, a real-time World War I strategy game developed by industry veterans Petroglyph Games. Petroglyph is of course very well known for their work on Star Wars Empire at War, and a lot of them worked on the Command & Conquer franchise back in the day, so you know that these guys have some serious experience under their belt when it comes to RTS games. Although this game offers a full turn-based campaign for both the allied nations as well as the Central Powers, for this first look video here during launch week, I want to focus on the real-time battles, even though those real-time battles are very connected to what's being done on the overview campaign map. So because of that, I want to introduce just a couple of features on the campaign map that do greatly affect how the battles play out in real time. Then we're going to dive in and do a late war battle, a very large scale one, and see how things play out. In a RTS game that seeks to create in-game mechanics based off of how the war was actually fought, you can expect a lot of very grim fighting once we hit that real-time battle. In the campaign map though, your nation's will to fight is the overall strength of your nation. Winning or losing a battle, as you would expect, greatly affects the morale back home, and your will to fight will shift back and forth, but it can also be greatly affected even if you technically win a battle and take a territory there on the hex map. If you slaughter thousands upon thousands of your own troops, taking that region, you're still going to get a pretty severe national will penalty. This means that during the real-time battles, playing conservatively and using your artillery to cover advances, and also knowing when to retreat or even surrender a territory is going to be key. Sometimes that national will penalty just won't be worth it. But during the campaign, you're going to find yourself wondering, can I make better decisions than the generals and leadership did during the actual war? To my discomfort, I found that frequently, for me, the answer was no, and I would lose far more troops than I expected trying to take just a single capture point during those real-time battles. The other key elements from the campaign map that are going to affect your abilities on the real-time fights is first going to be the supply chain. Just because your nation has plenty of supplies, which are required for both placing trenches, mortars, artillery, scouting balloons, and all of that stuff in the pre-game preparations, but you also have to have supplies to place your individual troops, call more troops in during the battle. Even if they're available nearby, you've got to have supply to call them in, and you also have to have supply on hand for that battle to even call in your artillery strikes. Those cannons have to have ammunition. To make sure that your troops are well supplied, you don't just have to have the troops nearby, but they've got to have a supply depot as well. But they're very expensive, and you have a very limited income per turn of gold for your nation. On the campaign map, you'll also be researching new technology as the war advances, which you're going to use to actually make some pushes through the stalemate on the Western Front. Tanks especially are going to be vital for rolling over enemy trenches and creating a breakthrough. That way your infantry can actually advance and take some territory. Basically, just how it happened during the actual war. Finally, the fog of war on the campaign map is going to greatly affect how battles play out in real time once you actually get to them. I found out very quickly that the AI was very good at stacking up troops that I did not see coming. To avoid being surprised by overwhelming enemy odds and losing a territory or more men than you should during a fight, use intelligence gathering, your spying abilities, which you have to unlock in the tech tree to see what kind of troops enemies have available to them before you get into the fight. To prevent the enemy doing the same to you, you can also use counter intel abilities. That's the basics of how this game works, and I would like to do a longer follow-up video going over the campaign and perhaps even doing a bit of a campaign playthrough if you guys are interested. But for now, let's dive in and take a look at a large-scale late-game battle here in the fall of 1918. As you can see here from the campaign map setup for this battle, I actually had very little intel about this battle other than the enemy was pretty severely fatigued from a previous fight. I'd also been reinforcing all the regions around the area, and I was pretty confident that I had most likely at least even odds for this fight. Still though, if this was a long-term campaign, not just an example for this video that I was trying to get recorded, I probably would have played this a lot more carefully and not gone in so blind without any kind of spying or intel. Once we've loaded into the map here, it's time to begin by placing some additional trenches. The trenches on this map, in theory, in a full campaign, would have been ones that I built earlier in the campaign. They are persistent across multiple battles. This is also true for most of the battle damage that you see on the map. Again, this is set up for the intro tutorial, so it's not a full campaign that I've played through, but things like this gigantic mine hole could have been caused by an explosion in an earlier fight on this battlefield, and it's still there years later in this campaign. That's how the damage system and persistence works. Here I'm working on that defense in depth that I talked about. I want there to be fallback positions for my troops if the first level of trenches are overwhelmed. This is extremely important because if you just have a single row of trenches and the enemy takes them, then they can just turn around and fire on any troops that are coming to try and retake the area. You've got to have trenches to provide covering fire and counterattack positions. Having layered trenches also helps prevent enemy artillery from being able to suppress all of your defensive troops at the same time. Any troops being hit by light or heavy artillery are going to be unable to fire until that artillery barrage is over. So that defense in depth with multiple trenches prevents your entire front line from being neutered, basically, during an enemy attack. The AI in this game is also very, very aggressive from what I've seen, and they will not hesitate to exploit a weakness that they find in your lines. So prepare your defenses, even in a attacking battle where I've initiated the attack, like this one. Also watch your population count. You can only have 30 units at a time on the battlefield, even if in this case, as you can see, I have hundreds of units waiting in the eaves as reinforcements. I've also placed a couple of tanks here, preparing for an attack on the closest enemy point, which is going to be Z right there, just across no man's land. I've also placed my scouting balloons as far forward as I can get them while still keeping them protected. And I've gone back and unrecruited a couple of troops so that I can bring in some heavy artillery to help push these attacks. I think I have my lines just about ready here. I think I've covered all the basics of the pre-planning phase and how I'm hoping this battle is going to play out. So let's go ahead and dive into that real-time fight. First things first, no enemy fighters in the air, so I'm going to go ahead and just put my balloons up and take a look at the enemy lines here. Get my tanks moving. Not a lot going on at Z yet. They have some pretty good defense in depth, but I think a good push will take them out. I think I've got to cut through that barbed wire, though, so my troops can get through. Although I can go around the right side, I guess. Go ahead and get our artillery firing, and watch out for those red circles. That's the enemy already dropping in, and they're trying to hit my tanks as hard as possible.
Get ready.
Artillery plus tanks have taken out a couple enemy troops, it looks like, so I'm going to just keep pushing here on the right. I don't want the enemy machine guns and all the infantry firing on my tanks at the same time, though. Their armor will get worn down eventually, even by just small arms fire. Oh crap, we got a machine gun nest in the upper right there. I didn't even see it up there. Balloons couldn't scout out far enough. Go ahead and get my trench raiders up front and in that first trench, while my tanks are taking all the damage, I guess. Oh, they have a heavy tank coming in. I just have a light tank. Oh, I'm barely punching that armor at all. My flame troopers got caught out of the trenches too. Try and bait this tank into the artillery, but this is gonna hurt for sure. Look at all those machine guns. Holy crap. Now I'm down 2 tanks. I've only got 2 in reserve, so I might come up with a plan B here. Instead of going right for my last 2 tanks. I've got the trenches, the first couple. But that tank is just machine gunning my guys from this side. And the Germans are pushing right on that tank side too. Can I hit this tank before he moves at least? Come on, come on. Alright, got him at least. None of my trench raiders survived that first attack from the tank, so I doubt my GIs are going to hold their... Oh, my flame troopers are actually firing some. That's unusual. Oh, they climbed out of the trench, that's why. Usually the flame troopers won't try and use those flamethrowers in the trenches themselves for obvious reasons, but a bunch of the enemies had climbed out of the trench lines there, and they got hit pretty hard by the flame troopers. I left a whole unit over here. Whoops. At least most of the barbed wire is gone now. So I'm going to call in a rolling barrage here for my light artillery. That'll suppress the enemy trenches and give me some smoke cover too, I think. Try to keep my troops moving up right behind it, and I can take out this light arty too, I hope. Hit it with frags there. I've got a bunch of trench raiders in the trenches again, so I think this is actually going to be mine for a while now. And with the second rolling barrage. I'm not sure what is hitting my guys over here taking out the enemy arty. Just mortars, maybe? Oh, bombers. Bombers too, okay. They're kind of out in the open. You can use these forests as cover for advances. It hides your guys in the fog of war and can prevent them getting constantly shot at, but if enemies are close by, they'll still see them in the tree line and open fire. So it's not like a perfect stealth to have your guys in the trees there. Can I grab this trench behind them a little bit? These guys are so weakened.
On a de nouveaux ordres. Sur la ligne. Tenez-vous prêts. Mettez-vous en position.
Kind of not going to last long. The back corner there. Without some help from the arty. It costs more for the rolling barrage because you're firing more ammo, but it's very effective for covering a push like this, so I'm going to do it one more time. Oh, they're pushing with some trench raiders too. Oh, they're getting grenades in the trenches. Crap. Push my guys up too. Oh, getting a little bit of lag there, it looks like. Then some sped up running. I think my pathfinding kind of freaked out there a little bit. Okay, they're all broken though, so that works. Okay.
Get ready.
Did I leapfrog? Oh, I did. Okay, whoops. Yeah, the pathfinding just all kind of broke there. There we go. So I'm capping Z point now. And they are counterattacking. This is actually less reinforcements than I was expecting. I wonder if their troop concentrations were lighter than I thought they were. I mean, I went in blind, so I can't say for sure, but looking at the power bar on the top of the screen there, it's pretty heavily in my favor already, so maybe I do outnumber them on total available troops. If I stop walking them right through artillery barrages, I guess. Might stay that way. Yeah, they got caught out in the open pushing up there.
Attention. En position de tir.
You really gotta watch calling in reinforcements on the front lines like I'm doing here, because the AI loves to just drop arty on their straight line path as soon as they see it, and then your guys just get torn up for no reason going in a straight line. So a little bit of micromanagement needed there for the reinforcements, but I don't think I actually lost a full unit to that, at least. Oh, they have a machine gun nest on the western side right there too. It's hard to actually wipe them out with arty, just arty, but I'm gonna give it 2 drops there, 2 arty drops, and see if I can take it out and then push up the left side here. Almost forgot that I put my balloons down, and the Germans had fighters overhead. Yeah, 2 heavy arty strikes only took out about 3/4 of that machine gun nest health, so I'm just gonna hope that those trenches are empty and go around them. Try and kill that machine gun nest. And I don't want to leave my Charlie Point totally naked. I brought up so many troops there. Bring some back. Because, like I said, the AI does tend to counterattack if they have the troops. And they've caught me by surprise in a number of battles. Just in the, I think, like 5 or 6 hours I've played so far, just trying out some different battle scenarios. They've definitely caught me by surprise multiple times with mass surprise attacks. So, I'm going to watch for that. And their main encampment is actually here, just to my west from this tree line, so if I can, I'm going to try and take out all this arty. My troops just using basic grenades there to take it out. And they've got a mortar position I've got to get to in the back here. Oh, 2 of them. Oh, and their command trenches here too. Okay. All those trench lines are very much full. Pull back, consolidate. Are they within arty range, I wonder? From my arty. I'm just glad that you can't move machine gun nests, because if they turn that one on the right side there, the eastern side of my troops, I would be so screwed. But he's too busy looking south in that emplacement. Oh, more heavy tanks. Or just one, maybe? Nope. Pull back. So much for gloating about the mobile machine gun nest. Now I've got 10 of them chasing me, basically. If I can kill that machine gun nest, I can bring in more troops to reinforce, but I think we're going to have a lot of just hiding in the tree line for a few minutes here. It says that bombers can target tanks, so I'm going to hope for the best and just call in a bomber run. It looks like the tanks can't see my guys in this tree line. Might be just far enough away. Oh, come on. Guys getting caught in the open again. So I am wearing down this tank's armor just a bit. Well, they're bombing the arty, but I can't tell if they're bombing the tanks or not from the planes, so I'll just hit them with heavy arty while they're stuck. I'll make a note here too. The sound of this game is sufficient, I'd say. It's not great. The visuals I like a lot. It works well for this style of game and the scale of it, but the sound definitely is just kind of there. Some of the guns sound quite flat. The arty sounds amazing, but I think the overall effect of the sound in this game is kind of brought down some by a lot of audio rendering glitches. You'll hear sounds cut out quite a bit. I think the sound would be not bad at all, really, if it weren't for all the glitches. And that's just unfortunate, but the arty especially does still sound quite good. And the poor guys walked right past a trench full of flame troopers there and got wiped out in like a second and a half. That was horrific. So I'm going to do a rolling barrage across the whole trench there and try and push up. But I don't think this attack's going to succeed. I think I got caught out in the open too much there. I've gone through, I think, 700 or so supply in battle, not counting the supply that I spent before the battle. So I've really got to watch here that I don't go through all of it. And our timer is down to 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And I have gone through quite a few units of troops here too. Yeah, it's 225 soldiers per unit. That's horrific. I've probably lost 3,000 men, maybe not that many, maybe only 2,000 men, but that is still just some horrific losses. And I'm walking right back into machine gun nests once again. I'm trying and shut that thing up so I can at least get by. If I can take that upper trench, I can have my troops take the nest out from behind. I won't be wasting so much supplies on artillery and bombing runs, but maybe that bomber can take it out. We'll see. At least that leftmost point, machine gun point, is gone. About 7 minutes and a half on the clock, and I think to completely win the fight and get the highest level of victory, I have to take all of the capture points and the command trench before the timer runs out. So this is going to be close. This is going to be real close.
Attention, on doit tenir cette position. Équipe prête. Vérifiez les coordonnées pour le barrage. Préparez-vous, soldats. Ordre de barrage roulant donné.
I'm going to push into the command trench again, just because I feel like, even though it's out of artillery range, it's less defended than Y Point still is. And I don't know if the command point capture would be an instant victory, maybe? Their mortars are just wrecking me over here, even though their infantry are suppressed. You can't tell if a enemy central command point is occupied until you actually... Ah, crap, the flame troopers. Yeah, they had more range than I thought. The command trench, you can't tell if it's occupied until you actually get in there, so... Could be doing all this pushing for no reason if it's full of, like, trench raiders or something, so... let's just push back to Y. That defense in depth, guys, it's just a meat grinder. It is horrifying. If I can get in this trench once these flame troopers are suppressed, then I can engage them in hand-to-hand combat, and they can't use their flamethrowers. And do a rolling barrage over all those enemy troops and all those trenches. Get in the trenches. Go, go, go. That already was pretty on point. That actually might help all these guys get in the trenches. You guys catch up. Come on. Oh, that southern machine gun nest is still there, holding on with just a sliver of health. They're pushing back through the trenches and counterattacking for like, that was the third time. Losing men at an alarming rate. You don't say. It's trench warfare, and I'm not making great tactical decisions here. I'm flip-flopping a bit too much on my objectives, and I'm losing a lot of troops because of it. Bring out some of these guys from the Z point to help. Oh, that machine gun nest is still alive. His reach is so far, too. Okay. Got a few in the trenches. There we go. Caught all those guys turning the corner. In the trench. That's going to hurt them pretty bad. It's going to hurt their morale, too, I hope. And if that machine gun nest is gone soon, I can just push these reinforcements right up north without bringing troops from my front lines again. There we go. Last machine gun is gone. Let's hit him from both sides. Now that we actually have the trenches, you guys get down in there. Yeah, you can blow through some supply calling the arty if you're not careful. Oh, did that heavy arty actually kill those guys completely? They might have just surrendered. This game does aggressively de-render dead troops. I think because of just how many are on the map at one time. So, oh wow, 3.5 minutes. I really can't wait around for the cap, so I'm gonna send those two really injured regiments off the map. Go ahead and send them back out. And then they'll be less injured on the campaign map after this fight. And I can just go ahead and in just a minute call in some fresher reinforcements.
Tenez-vous prêts. On y va.
Yeah, the purpose of pulling guys back is really just to avoid paying more gold to replenish them after a big fight like this. So send them out of the fight if a regiment is just too injured to do well on the next battle. Next part of the battle, I guess. Three minutes for point X and the command trench. I don't think we're going to get both here. But let's try for the command trench. Wow, those flame troopers are devastating. They've got layered flame troopers too. Look at that. Beyond horrific. And they have so many troops in these trenches that I did not see. And the command trench is also fully occupied. Thankfully just by infantry. Wow. I just watched like 1,000 men die on that attack. Oh, and I captured Y here, so I can use that as a closer reinforcement position. Let's go ahead and call in our last two tanks. We got barely 2 minutes left. This is our only chance to get at least a command trench, I think. And at least we do have that close resupply point. Let's just go ahead and put all of our eggs in one basket. These guys have not counterattacked in this fight. They usually are quite aggressive about counterattacking, but I'm thinking that I must really outnumber them more than I thought, because they've been playing very, very conservatively.
Tenez-vous prêts. Préparez-vous sur la ligne. Tenez-vous prêts. Préparez-vous à recevoir les ordres. Cette position est à nous.
I'm going to call in a bombing run too, just in case these troops all break through. Really want to get this command point, command trench captured.
arrivés. On attend les ordres.
Dirigez-vous vers cette position. De nouveaux ordres.
They're gonna fend off that first attack on the command trench, it looks like. No? Okay, now they're breaking, thankfully. But they're also counter-attacking a bit from that X point. There goes one of their scouting balloons. You gotta watch and make sure that you're calling in reinforcements from the correct point you want them to come from, so they're not walking into an enemy encampment trying to get to where you're fighting. These poor guys are experiencing what I experienced at the start of this fight now. Just walking right across an open field. Once you've captured all of their layered trenches, a counterattack is just nearly impossible without artillery. And I've captured or destroyed all of their artillery at this point. So all they can do is just march across the field.
Préparez-vous. En position. Attention. On doit y aller. Mettez-vous en position.
Attendez les ordres. Sur la ligne. Tenez-vous prêts. En position de tir.
It looks like the battle timer pauses while you're capturing the command point, which is nice.
Préparez-vous à tirer.
I think that's just for the command trench, though. That wouldn't happen for just normal capture point. I don't think, maybe. I'm not sure, actually. I haven't tested that. If you could start a capture on this last point, maybe pause it. I don't know. I might go for it, but I've got a feeling that they have a lot of troops still in reserve down here. Just cue the RD up. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fully occupied. Machine gun nest 2 in the back. Trying to focus fire on that from the tank. Oh, the flame troopers. They get a taste of their own medicine finally. Oh man, I actually might have this if I can get the timer going. 12 seconds. Nah, they're gonna have too many troops. They got troops in the back too. 4 seconds. Come on. Not enough to start the cap, so that's timer right there. All right. Well, not a complete victory. Reduces his will to fight. So I don't capture the territory, I don't think, but I do get a victory status on the battle. Yeah, there we go. Victory. Oh, I did outnumber them quite a bit, it looks like. They killed just as many, actually 20 more men than I killed, though. Man, Defender's advantage in World War I is pretty horrific. And there's the cost in gold to replenish all of these injured troops. That is also horrifying from a gameplay perspective. Alright guys, well there's finally a win for me. I've been kind of stomped on by the AI, practicing to record a battle to show you guys. There we go. One finally went pretty well. About as well as a World War I battle can go. That's how the real-time fights go. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing more of the campaign map, perhaps a few episodes of some persistent campaign even. For now, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.